my pack, my tribe. Welcome to Howling After Dark. Okay, so this is something I've been thinking about for a while now. The title of tonight's show is Interpretation, and here's what it's about. So, I think it's important to have one clear voice, okay? No matter what you're doing in life, one clear voice, okay? But it's especially important when you're into paranormal research, investigation, what have you. Like when you form a team, right? I think it's important that at the very early stages of that, you decide who is going to interpret your evidence, right? so things don't get confused. All right, and it also keeps arguments from happening. So I think either you need to have one person that does one certain kind of evidence. Like on my team, for example, I'm generally the guy that goes through everything. But my specialty is video evidence. I've got a knack for that. I know what it looks like when something isn't right. I know what it looks like when something's been faked even. I've reviewed evidence sent to me from other sources. So that's me. And then on our team, Becky is our EVP specialist. So she reviews mostly, not all, but mostly audio evidence, because she's got that ear. Like, and it's ridiculous, I'm telling you. Like, if you met her and did an investigation with us, you would see it. She just picks things out of the atmosphere and hears them. I don't know how the fuck she does it, honestly. She's got those bad ears. But we didn't really discuss it, to be honest. We didn't. It just, everybody kind of fell into their place, I guess you could say. But there was no argument about it. It was, you do this, I do this. You know, that's just kind of how it came out. But we're like an exception to the rule, in a way. Because I've seen teams disintegrate because nobody could decide what they were doing. You know what I mean? Like, I've seen teams literally disintegrate because nobody could agree on who's doing what. Right, so that's part of it. Also, what I want to discuss tonight is how to correctly interpret evidence. And I've said it on other podcasts and whatnot. I'm a big believer, personally, of the, if you will, power of three, where, to me, something is not evidence unless there's two other pieces of evidence to back it up. Case in point, we did an investigation not too long ago at Cross-Eyed Moose Event Center in Homeworth, Ohio. And so I was by myself at this point. I was down in the basement, which is this, they turned into this really nice bar. It's got all these antiques that came from Texas, and that's kind of part of the story. And one of the spirits we had been in contact before was a Native American woman. She was Comanche by the name of Rose. And so what happened was, and you can even see it in the video, you can find it on YouTube. But maybe I'll post it on Facebook, I don't know. Anyways, so in this piece of footage, what you see is I'm standing by this poker table they have down there, and across from the poker table on the other side of the bar is like this row of really nice wood tables. I think they're like oak or something, but they're beautiful, no doubt. And there's a flashlight on the table. Okay, so you see the flashlight going on and off, and then I pan down and you can see I believe it was like my one of our K2 meters, I think it was, that it's Becky's, was going off, I think. I'm trying to remember correctly because it's actually been a while since I've watched it. And then I pan up and to the left of this table, and you can see her standing there. Her hair's down, and you can see her buckskins that she's wearing, and she sits at the table. So that was like three things all happening at the same time to back each other up, to say that, this is legit evidence. And that's really important. Okay, some people only require two, and I'm not scoffing at that. That's legit too, in my opinion. Three is just my pickiness coming out. Okay, so I would say at least two would be required in order to give it legitimacy. Okay, so there's that factor. The other thing is how do you, and I'm going mainly video here, how do you know that it's not just pareidolia, which is you see something in an image and it tricks your brain into thinking it's something else? Or how do you know if it's legitimate? Well, the easiest way to do that, honestly, is to go up to it, right? And I've been a victim of this too, by the way. I'm by no means immune to it, okay? Only difference is I actually see them, all right? So I'm sure everybody's watched an episode of Ghost Adventures or Ghost Hunters or whatever, and they get video or SLS camera footage of something, and you'll see one of the guys walk up to it. See, that's what I'm talking about. Walking up to it to feel it or see it or sense it or interact with it even gives it legitimacy. Okay? So, if you're not 100% sure that what you're seeing is what you're seeing, go up to it. If it interacts with you, then what you're seeing is real. That's pretty much how that goes. But you can even do the same thing with audio sometimes, where you hear something with your own ears, and you've got a recorder going, or SV1 app, or Spirit Box, or whatever it is going, and you're not sure if you heard it. Well, a lot of those devices have a record function, so you just play it back. Right? And if you hear it on the playback, then what you heard is, in fact, what you heard, obviously. So it's really important to stay on top of that. And try and do everything that you can to correctly interpret what is going on in the atmosphere of your investigation. Because you don't want to be known as being sensational, like sensationalists. But you also don't want to be known as the group that just doesn't believe anything. You want to find that middle ground. That's how teams stay in operation for long periods of time. I've been doing this for 30 years. More now, actually. But, so I've been on a couple different teams within that time, and I've seen teams do really well, and I've seen teams dissolve from the inside, and when I formed this team, I was very careful about, if we're going to last, we need to achieve certain goals, we need to do certain things. I had a very clear-cut view of what it takes to do what we do, and that's why we've been around for as long as we have. That's also why, we're well known on the other side, which, to me, in my point of view, that's way more important than being well known on this side, right? Because everything we do requires us to interact with them, not the other way around. And I think people get that confused. It's not required for them to interact with you. They don't have to interact with you. So if you come off like an asshole, they're not going to want to talk to you. But if you come out with respect and then they interact with you, that's the whole point. Right? So, that's also part of why interpreting our evidence is so important. Because, key example, right? We go to investigate this place, right? Called the Mansfield Farm Museum. It's actually two separate investigations. One's at the Mansfield Farm Museum. One's at the old gas company. Right? They both have their interesting histories, and they both have their phenomenon, and they're both awesome, to be honest, right? But we did a session on the SV1 app on my phone at the Mansfield Farm Museum up in the attic, and we kept getting the name Steve, right? But we didn't just jump to the conclusion that that's what we were hearing until we went to the old gas company like a week or two later and got Steve. See what I'm saying here? Like, you need things to back each other up before you call it evidence, or like I like to call it proof, because I'm not trying to convince anybody else. You know, I when it comes to that, it's for me. It's for people on my team. It's not for, the outside world. If the outside world sees our footage on YouTube or whatever and believes it, then cool. But it's not really for them. It's really for us, and we're just sharing that part, I guess you could say. So, but because of that, we have to be careful. We have to have correct interpretation. And this goes for other areas of your life, too. There's people, and I've known them, that they go to psychics or seers or oracles or whatever, and they spend so much time listening to these other people that it's ruined their personal relationships. I've seen it several times, right? So, I think it's more important to learn how to interpret these things for yourself than to listen to others. I'm not saying these other people would necessarily lead you wrong, or that they're bad people or anything like that. But it's one person and their opinion of what you're seeing. It's not your opinion, which is always more important. Right? So interpretation in the paranormal world is, whether you're an investigator or whether you're, somebody who's contacting psychics because you got a problem in your life, or whether you're, whatever it is, it's important to have one clear voice. And the most important voice will always be your own, right? So, like, if I say, for example, that I love someone, that is not coming from my oracle friend. That is coming from me. That is coming from in my heart, telling another human being that I love them. Right? I don't need somebody else to tell me that. That is coming from me. Right? So every decision I make about that person, and this is just an example, every decision I make about that person is coming from me. Because the most important part of that equation is that person and me, not that person, me, and their seer or what have you. So it's very important to work as a team, but it's also really important to be able to interpret things for yourself. Right? Like, you wouldn't let someone else not involved in your life, or maybe involved in your life in the periphery, or maybe involved in your life but not in the same way, tell you that your relationship is over because of what they see. Right? You would figure that out for yourself. And if that's the case, then that's the case. But you don't put so much stock in other people's opinions of what you should be interpreting. Right? Like, I could sit here and talk to you till I'm blue in the face about a piece of video footage, and I could say, no, that's pareidolia, but at the end of the day, I wasn't there. You were. So you are really the one that knows whether it's pareidolia or not. My opinion doesn't matter. And see, that's kind of a dangerous thing dealing with paranormal or life or what have you, is, and not to say that people are lying, although I'm sure that happens. But how do you know that vision or opinion or whatever it is not tinged by their own feelings? Right? Because the thing about somebody else interpreting things for you, is they can't take themselves out of the equation. It's not possible. Right? Because people at our core, we're not selfish in the way of, oh, well, I'm only thinking about myself, but we do have a strong sense of self, and we're not wired really to take ourself out of it. See what I'm saying? So, and because of that fact, it's also important to do the layer technique. Okay? What I call the layer technique is, I'll submit whatever piece of evidence I think of to somebody else on the team and let them see it and get their opinion. Right? That way I'm not relying on any one opinion. The most important opinion in my life, in your life, in everybody's life is your own. But that doesn't mean you can't get, other opinions. It just means that at the end of the day, the interpretation that is going to be most important is your own. Right? So, that's kind of what I'm getting at here is, so no matter what it is, whether it's interpreting something in your life, like I know, actually, I kind of bringing this up because I know a lot of people talk to psychics, and I'm not taking anything away from those psychics, those mediums, what have you. I'm sure that they're all great, but more important than whatever they tell you is what you feel and what you think, right? So I guess when it comes to that, I would say trust your own instincts and fuck anybody else. You know, like I literally know people that have talked to people that have had visions or what have you, and they listen to that person, and as a result, their relationship suffered because they weren't listening to themselves. Right, I actually know somebody that I feel really bad for them, to be honest, and I've actually kind of gone through this same kind of thing, where they were together for a while, and they were about to get married, and then she went to see a psychic that she knew, and as a result, they ended up breaking up the relationship. And when that happened, the first words out of my mouth to her was, how do you know this guy isn't just telling you this because he wants you for himself? And not that there's anything necessarily wrong with that in and of itself. You know, people want what they're going to want, but you can't give that opinion selflessly. Alright, so this relationship got destroyed because of one man's opinion, essentially. So, I'm not saying don't go to psychics and don't get their input or what have you. I'm just saying that at the end of the day, the only interpretation that matters is your own. And that's doubly so with, doing paranormal investigation. You were the one that was there. So you have to trust your own instincts on that. I mean, I can look at footage that's submitted to me from other people all day long, and I don't have a problem doing that. But I always say, what did you feel? What did you see? What did you think? Because in my opinion, yeah, I can tell you this is real footage, but I wasn't there. I don't know what they're doing or thinking or feeling because I wasn't there. And all you can do is you do your best to interpret things for yourself. You can always get second opinions, like I said, or third opinions, or seventh opinions. It doesn't matter. What do you think? If you see something in your own footage, for example, and you think it's real, then really that's the only opinion that matters. You can get, like, professionals, or other investigators, what have you, to second your opinion or to reassure your opinion and say, yeah, this footage is in fact real, or I think it might be, fake or whatever. They can say whatever they want, but Your opinion's the only one that matters. You were the one that was there. So if, for example, you're doing an investigation and you catch footage of an apparition and you distinctly remember feeling chills and getting goosebumps all over your body and the feeling of a charged atmosphere, and then, other things are happening at the same time, how is anyone going to convince you you're wrong unless you're not taking your own opinion seriously? And if that's where you're at, then you've got issues beyond paranormal investigating, my friend. And I would definitely suggest seeking help for that. Because, as I said, at the end of the day, the only opinion that matters is your own. I don't give a shit if we're talking about your husband or wife and you've been married for 50 years. Yeah, great, you love him. I'm happy for you. And I'm not saying it should be any other way, but at the end of the day, the only opinion that matters is your own. That's it. Your own. Okay? So, it's the same with the paranormal, it's the same with any aspect of your life. Interpretation is key. And if you don't know how to interpret things for yourself, all you have to do is open your eyes. All you have to do is touch the things around you and taste and feel and live and love and all that stuff. Because nobody lives your life for you, do they? And if they do, then you have a sad, sad life. So I guess what I'm saying is, be your own interpreter. Make your own decisions. Live your own life. Don't let people get in the way of what you really want. Even if they are coming to you with the best of intentions, it's going to be selfish. Because they cannot take the self out of that. So always keep that in mind. Doesn't mean that their opinion is right or wrong, just means that take into account that their self is in what they're telling you. They can't help it. So I hope this helps someone out there. I hope that somebody gets something from this. And until next time, my pack, my tribe, peace out.